inspired by the messaging. I saw it.
And those ads were really weird, weren't they?
I saw stories about what was going on and the passion for rebuilding some American automobile company. I'm like, yes, let's get behind American cars. And so this in tandem with that, I can see where people might get behind it where they might not have a couple years ago.
Yeah. Now the difference is, I said no traditional spends on your typical stuff. I mean, but Ford, the other distant side of the company was still doing what it's doing when it comes to creating commercials and working with other agencies to do those things, and they were coming up with kind of things that kind of spoke in the same tone. They had like really weird stuff, like people my age are obsessed with zombies, so they had kind of like zombie-related car commercials for some inexplicable reason. I thought they were funny, so it kind of worked,
I got a question. On social media, was there any kind of entertainment value that someone would pick up on, like how many people can you shove in a Ford Fiesta, or some like 30-hour crazy road trip across country?
Anything you could possibly imagine definitely happened. At least in chapter 1, because that's where their like 10 million YouTube views came from.
Yeah.
Our chapter, the second half, was more focused on really getting into those target markets, which is why they picked those 16 U.S. cities as opposed to just scattering. There was no Team Des Moines in chapter 2.
Or like maybe how many people can pick up a Ford Fiesta.
Exactly. Anything that kind of like, as long as we didn't like destroy the car outright, it was kind of okay, Yes.
Yeah, I have two broad questions. One is, I'm very curious about the age and the generational spread on the 6,000. And I'm guessing, is it under 35 or over 35?
I actually don't know the details on that, but if I would have to make just a blunt guess, I'd have to say it might actually be middle of the road, because honestly, Ford will still appeal to, generations where the U.S. car buyers, though they haven't gone away. And just because the Fiesta movement wasn't explicitly advertised to, more broader sampling, from maybe talking about on TV and in the newspaper and everything, doesn't mean that other generations, other demographics weren't being affected by the traditional campaigns, the typical commercials, and stuff like that. And I feel, the entire audience in terms of car buyers are just generally getting more eco-conscious and everything like that. So I think people, I heard from a lot of people outside of my age group and demographic at all entirely, like, we really want something more economical. That's pretty much the same thing that every car manufacturer is saying. And the Ford Focus kind of came in at a good time where other brands had other models that were a little bit more stagnant. The Ford Fiesta is very European in feel, so it's refreshing to traditional Ford buyers. It's something that would make someone who's never bought a Ford before actually interested.
Are you under 35?
I am.
You went to college?
I did.
Did you have WebCT or Blackboard?
No, I actually just missed that sort of thing.
Okay. And my philosophy, my belief is people under 35 coming out of college are so used to automation and communicating with the teacher so differently from when the rest of us went through college. Okay, their assignments were all electronic individually. Their grades are electronic. So I believe those who are under 35 get social media. They get it easily. And the other level of grandkids are way past this.
Yeah.
Okay, they're into the thumbing all day long. Public restaurant, they won't look at Papa. Privately, I don't get eye contact.
Don't even get me started on the tweens. First of all, that's
they're focused on that.
Yeah.
And so your generation under 35 gets it. They get social media. That's my belief. I've got 5 kids, 4 over 35 who really don't get it.
Yeah.
The one under 35, no problem. He's into it. There is a generational thing. I truly believe here. I would bet a large percentage of those 6,000 are under 35. They interact with social media very easily. The other thing I hear you say is about performance media and print. Well, you open this up, you said there's very little print. To me, it's radio, TV, newspapers, whatever. Okay, that's all one way. You put an ad out there, it's on the radio, it's on the TV, it's very one way. Yes, you sit back and do some statistics, but it's the old-fashioned way. Now you have instant access. You're doing this instantly with YouTube, you're texting, and you're getting immediate feedback. You You said it earlier, where is the location of that server? That server's in Philadelphia. So I know the Philadelphia market, I'm getting so many thousands of hits coming back through the Philadelphia server. In fact, it's, I think, at Broad Street. Do you know where the server is?
Yeah.
You know it's up there. It's a regional server. It takes care of us. We're Delaware. We have to go through that Philadelphia server. So I think that's what's going in terms of performance measurements. It'd be nice to know, and this gentleman asked it right here. What did you do 5 years ago, and what are you doing now in terms of performance measurements? And here's the results. And I wish you could give that to us 5 years ago, you know?
Yeah, to see, you know, where the effectiveness is happening real time. You know, I think we're almost there. Hard to say. You know, we'll see if Comcast like releases the stranglehold on a lot of things, and just different things like that have to change in order to get those real-time stats. There's only so much, you know.
Those pre-orders. I mean, that's the information. Those 6,000 cars.
That's the model back.
They know how many other models have been ordered and whatever the goals are.
And almost instantly.
I wanted to ask if you did much on any sort of messaging about total cost of ownership, because I can remember when Ford, we would kid, you know what it stands for, right? Ford Fix or Repair Daily.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it. Now, I can buy into
That was
all-
World War II, my generation.
okay.
Or as I learned early on, Honda, hold on, not done accelerating. So I don't drive one of them.
But I can buy into all the, you know, the green benefits of this car, but I still, I guess I would be concerned, and I haven't heard, and you know, out there in the media, be it social media, be it traditional media, that I can really trust that this car is going to work for me longer and better than the Honda that I've had for 11 years.
See, it's an interesting thing you bring up, because you know the majority of the experience that I have that has paid the bills and things that I've gone to school for and stuff like that is I've been a designer my whole life. So once saw a presentation in Princeton from this Microsoft researcher. He's an experienced designer, and the thing he opens up with is just a flat picture of a bicycle, as flat as can be. It's a photograph, but it's just really flat. And he's like, this is a product. This isn't what you're selling. Where you're selling, and then he turned the slide, and the picture he showed was a guy pretty much like jumping a ravine in a mountain on a mountain bike. That's what you're selling. You're selling the experience. You're selling what it feels like. You're selling the adrenaline of what it feels like to actually be using that product. So is that kind of shady? Is it kind of like misleading? In a sense, but I mean that's the history of advertising. You're selling the experience, and it depends on what you want to look at it. The more informed buyers will definitely do the research. I'll do my research on total cost of ownership statistics, car insurance. When I was a car salesman, nobody thought about car insurance. It's like I'm selling you a $60,000 vehicle, and you didn't realize your car insurance would be this high. I mean, that's what's happening. Like yeah, you can afford the car, but you compound that with the insurance. People really need to be more informed. But the benefit is and as you were saying, before it was just kind of like, a broadcast, and now people are talking to each other.